going to be a good panel. Shall I shut up and get our guests on the stage? You're definitely ready for this. Ladies and gentlemen, and wait till you see the outfit. Oh my God. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Jess and Rob! Come on, can you better than that? Grab a seat, my friends, grab a seat. Yeah, let's hear from our interpreters as well. They're doing an amazing job. If you did hear that, I'm so sorry for what's about to happen.
Yeah. Check, check. Hey, there we are. Are you ready, Ron? 1, 2, 3. Hello, London! All right, thanks for coming, you guys. We'll see you. I'm just playing.
By the way, we apologize, but we might have a disruption in the power because the space station is called about Jess's outfit.
Yeah, I'm trying to be a satellite. Wow, I'm loud, dude.
No, I actually heard that Taylor Swift is ringing up and asking for the outfit back.
Yeah, she did.
Thank you so much.
Actually, somebody said I look like Shania Twain blew up in the glitter factory. She's pretty good. I like that.
I think you look better than Shania Twain, to be fair. So, how's Combi? You were here yesterday. How's it been coming back to London, the UK?
You want to go first?
What an absolute pleasure. I think I can speak definitely for both of us in that the amount of influence on folks like us, musically, comedically, artistically in general, is due in absolutely no small part to all of our friends in IT. And so we really, and by the way, we are over the whole Revolutionary War thing.
We forgive you.
Yeah, so we in the colonies, we're good. Come visit us. But no, honestly, this is an absolute pleasure. And this cannot be said enough, by the way. So many of you, in fact, there are people right now waiting in our lines, and so many of you are so sweet. Well, not I say all of you are sweet, but you often come up and you say things like, well, I know you've heard this before. It's the first time we've heard it from you.
That's very true.
And I'm dead serious. If you ever stand in line to meet anyone whom you admire for any reason, and they are anything less than utterly genuine and completely enamored and humbled by your kindness,
Punch him in the throat.
how come?
Please don't do that.
Thank you very much. You are worth it.
Yeah, you guys are so sweet to us, and we just want to say thank you so much for welcoming us into your great city. What Rob said is true. I think if I could have chosen any other place to live than I do, it would be London. It's my favorite city, and we love
Yeah,
it.
no kidding.
We have met so many awesome people here, and except for that one guy who asked me to sign the blank check, you guys have been amazing. So thank you very, very much.
Apologise once for that. I
It was
needed
him,
to
actually. Yeah, it was CJ, actually. CJ, you bastard.
Jonies will do whatever they can to get money. We know this. But obviously, talking about Comic Cons and meeting the fans, you've been to many events all around the world. Are there any memories from those events that have like really stood out to you, and like you just think, wow?
Jess had a couple of young children calling him daddy today, which I
It happens, bro. I used to
talk
be a
about.
man.
Talk about a surprise. Well, yes, and I don't mean to be coy, but it's happened this weekend. One of the things we hear over and over again, I think because of how powerful animation, music, all that is, there's definitely a fantastical component to it. But look, I was born at night, but not last night. I'm pretty old. And I now get a chance to travel around the world, and we see the extent to which these characters connect with people at their souls. And we hear the most personal, profoundly important stories about, Mr. Paulsen, I was in the foster system, 7 different homes, but as long as there was a television, or Mr. Harnell, my mom just passed away from cancer, but the last 4 months we watched Animaniacs you will never know, ... That stuff happens all the time. And it is impossible to quantify what that means to us. We know that we're working because we get more episodes, another season. But until we do these, we have absolutely no idea of how powerful these characters are, were it not for you. And so we have nothing without you guys.
I'll add to that, but like, my favorite thing to hear, and we're blessed to hear it a lot, is when people go, dude, thank you for being my childhood.
Yeah.
You know, what an honor that is to be part of your life at that time of your life. And frankly, I'm surprised your parents let me in the house, but that's a whole other story. You know, it's such a gift. And I also, you know, there's always this thing about, you know, people come up and they say, you know, oh, I'm such a fan of your work. And I'm like, dude, you're not a fan of my work, because fan implies that I'm up there and you guys are here. We're all here. You know, you guys are like our friends because you love what we do, and that's what friends do. You support each other. You want each other to do well. And we love getting the chance to meet you guys. If you're around later and you come by the table, if you want to buy something, buy something. If you just want to say hi, come say hi. Because it is such a gift to get to know you all, and we really appreciate your time.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
100%.
I think you guys know what.
Thank you.
Thank you. I love you guys. You're awesome.
I think you hit the nail on the head, because when Animaniacs first came out, I watched it, I grew up, it had to be a group for Animaniacs, yeah? And the fact that it's had such an impact, it's now jumped in generations, where my daughter watched Animaniacs as well. It's like, because she's going, what did you watch when you were younger? Let her watch Animaniacs, and I think after the first one, you watched that? I'm like, it's good, isn't it? She's like, next episode, thank you. But to see that have such an impact, years and years, it must be nearly 30 years coming up, and still now you've got, for example, who is under 20 sat in the audience? 19. Such different now, they've got the third generation now. Seeing that show that you are part of having an impact on everyone's families, it must be shocking for you.
We were just saying, it is impossible to explain how precious that is. We've been paid really well to do what we would do for free. Don't tell anybody, but that's the God's truth. I am paid to do essentially what got me in trouble when I was 13 years old at school. But now, I'm 68 years old. I've been in Hollywood for 46 years. And my job now is to go around the world, meet the most incredibly lovely humans, and people who are maybe not even human. But you know what? Jess and I and Maurice and Billy West and Tress and Nancy, we go home from this event exhausted from saying thank you. Who gets to do that? Nobody. Nobody at my age, unless you're this fortunate. You're looking at playing golf the rest of your life if you're lucky. But I am closer to the end than the beginning. But what a way to go out.
I'm telling you, man, it's the greatest.
So again, thank you.
Well, the other thing is, you know what, in all of our lives, you guys, if you can be part of something that makes people happy as opposed to bums people out, you're way ahead of the game. And we can all do that, whether you're doing animation or whether you're doing, you know, plumbing. When you're doing plumbing, you're fixing somebody's toilet. Believe me, they're happier when you leave than when you got there, and that's a plus, right? The weirdest compliment that we get at our tables is when people say, thanks for being so nice. And I'm always like, I wonder why that's weird. It shouldn't be, that shouldn't be weird. That should be the norm. It should be weird when somebody's not nice. So we're just really happy. And the blessing that me and him share in common on a lot of our contemporaries that we just mentioned is, okay, you take a show like Animaniacs and that's a big hit, right? But before Animaniacs, Rob was on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. After Animaniacs, we've all been parts of other shows that became other people's childhoods, and it's gone on generationally up until now. So what's amazing is we get guys like CJ, and then their kids grow up watching, I don't know, Doc McStuffins or something, and they love that show, and so we get to be part of it all over again, and it's like, hallelujah, thank you, Jesus. It's a good life, man, you know?
We're in the happy business.
I've always, and I probably shouldn't say this, but I always find that people I've worked in voice are usually the most friendliest, happiest, because you appreciate the fact that they may not recognize you because it's a voice they hear, but get to meet you and speak to you in these events. If you think all the way back to when you first got the role for Animaniacs, how was that pitched to you? Because Animaniacs was very, very different to some of the cartoons. Obviously, you had your Bugs Bunny, your Daffy Duck, a bit zany, but Animaniacs, what I loved, wasn't scared to break that fourth wall. It wasn't scared to do what I think is great now, because Pixar do this. They kind of lean into the adult humour, so parents who are watching it will get those. And I've watched it back recently, and I'm thinking, I don't remember this being so rude.
Right.
Am I wrong?
Well, you know, we didn't remember you being so rude either,
Yeah.
but yeah, here we are.
That's fair.
In fact, your parents called me and said, "My God, my kid is rude." The edict from the beginning, from the King of Hollywood, Mr. Spielberg, and Tom Ruegger, and those are really the two gentlemen, Tom Ruegger and Steven Spielberg, who made this happen. But the edict from the beginning was, we're not making a child show, we're making a show for children of all ages, a la Looney Tunes, Rocky and Bullwinkle. And if you watch the titular, not the eponymous Spielberg on HBO 3-hour documentary, in the middle of it, it talks about Pinky the Brain and Animaniacs and Tiny Toons and all that stuff, because it's just as important to him. So they knew when we were, the writers and the producers knew when we were doing this, all the kids would get a kick out of us dropping an anvil on baloney. Hey, baloney! But mom and dad would go, fingerprints? How did that? Yeah. And now they do. And so every single time I meet someone who's 30, 25, it's a reminder of how smart they were to do that. But it's no different. Bugs is 80. You can watch Bugs cartoons from 1950.
Oh, they're still funny.
So relevant.
I always look at it, man, like Animaniacs was sort of like a Trojan horse. It was basically a variety show, social commentary disguised as a children's cartoon. You know what I mean? And it snuck in through the gates, and yes, it entertained the kids, but like you said, it had the parents scratching their heads. And as far as getting recognized, the funny thing about that is I get recognized all the time, but people think it's because I'm in Whitesnake. It's pretty good, you know?
And as well, one of the things I think made it stand out was just so quotable. Like just, you'd have the running gags going on, but they'll just always hit the mark. They're just so funny.
And there's like 7 people here right now that've got a body emergency, I can tell you that right now.
So when you were reading the scripts for these, when you were looking at some of these jokes, were you thinking, how are we going to get away with this?
All the time. Yeah, in fact, the number of times that I said, Jess and Jess and I, Yakko, Wacko, and Don all usually sat right next to each other. Yeah, I don't remember how many times we looked at each other and go, yeah, you know, we did the Thanksgiving special, and Maurice played Miles Standish as Richard Burton. My pinky pajamas, I love them so, or something. And he said, give me the bird. You know, we'd like to give you the bird, but the censors won't let us. And stuff like, yeah, good night, everybody. And it happened all the time.
What hits, man?
But I have to tell you one quick story. When the show was rebooted, thank you, Mr. Spielberg, when we got back to work on the first episode of the new season, I reminded Tress of an episode from the original show a million years ago in which we had everybody, Jim and Frank Welker and Carrie Elwes was on, I mean, everybody, Roddy McDowell, and everybody. We had so many wonderful actors that we had to switch mics and all that. And I told Tress, I said, honey, take a picture of this because, man, it just don't get no better. Then, I sat with her on the first day of recording the reboot, and I said, remember when I told you? And she said that it doesn't get any better? And I said, yes. And she said, it does, doesn't it? It is overwhelming. We know that we've won the lottery. No, rarely do you get to work on a show like Animaniacs. And then you get another crack at it.
Incredible.
Unbelievable.
And I'll give you guys a little behind the scenes story that's pretty funny. The first time I met Rob Paulsen, this is pretty cool. I went and I showed up to do the first session.
I was just being released from rehab again.
I picked him up. It was very nice of me. But I showed up at the first session for Animaniacs, And before that, I've done some like guest parts on like Darkwing Duck and things like that, and like Splash Mountain and other things. But I'd never been on a series as a regular, you know. And I showed him to Animaniacs the first day, and I'm sitting next to him, and he's so great, you know. And he's playing Yakko, and he's playing Dr. Scratch and Sniff, and he's just kicking butt. And I'm like, this guy's freaking awesome. I thought he was so cool. So at the break we go. They say, okay, you guys want to get like a coffee or something to drink? So we go out to the green room. And my first conversation with Rob Paulsen went like this. I walked over to him and I go, hey, like that, right? And he goes, hi. And I go, yeah. I said, I gotta tell you, I really like it when you make your voice sound like people that you're not in real life. That was the first thing I ever said to Rob, and we're still friends, so God bless us. But yes, those are my first.
Great. Jesse is completely and utterly drug and alcohol free, except for one day. On the first day of Animaniacs, he drank a gallon of bong water, and it paid off beautifully.
It all worked out in the end, man.
By the way, at the studio in which we recorded Animaniacs was a place called Sound Castle in Glendale, California. And like the third or fourth episode, they did records there too. And I got to work one day, and I was standing outside with a cup of coffee, and one of your former country people, Lemmy from Motorhead. Yeah, funny, that's what his wife said. So Lemmy and his very large wart showed up to me, and he goes, "Oi, what's going on in there?" I said, "Oh well, we're doing cartoons." "Oh, really doing a bloody rock and roll record next door." And I said, "Yeah." He said, "What's the name of the show?" I said, "Well, it's a new show with Animaniacs, but it's being done by Steven Spielberg." "No, King Way! No, King bloody Way!" And I thought, well, yeah, it's nice to meet you, Lemmy. But he was this big, he had his groovy hat on.
He was right there, man.
So, yeah, we've had some really remarkable experiences as a result of a silly cartoon show.
Seeing you brought up the reboot, what was it like when you got that call to say, would you be interested in doing another
I love it.
season?
Listen, we're hired guns, for God's sake. When somebody from Steven Spielberg's office calls and says, "Hey Jess, hey Rob, would you be interested?" Come on. I want to say, with all due respect, what a stupid question!
Yeah, I was actually cleaning Steven's pool when they asked me the question.
Yeah, I was detailing his car.
No, we were totally stoked, man. But the thing that's funny about it, what I always remember about the reboot, CJ, is they took us out for dinner. They took me and Rob and Tress out for a really nice dinner, and we're sitting there in this very posh place, we're having a nice dinner, and they're like, "Listen, guys, you know, we're thinking about bringing Animaniacs back." And we're like, "Oh yeah, okay." And they were like, "You don't seem that excited." And we're like, "Oh no, we are, man. It's just this is Hollywood, and you never know what's gonna happen." And they left, and we were standing at the foyer of the restaurant. The three of us were standing there, and we looked at each other and we went, "What do you think?" We're like, "Oh, it'd be great, man. It'd be great. We'll see. Okay, I'll see you tomorrow on fill in the blank of this cartoon," or whatever that cartoon was. And we went home. It was like a year and a half later
that
we actually started. So it's not like we were, you know, waiting at home going ring, ring, looking at the phone. We were busying ourselves with other things. The best thing for me about the reboot coming back is it gave the people who loved it a chance to love it again.
Yeah.
And maybe share it with their kids. That was the coolest thing, and of course being in the room with these guys, I could never get enough of that. So it was a very happy thing.
Yeah.
But it is funny, we were thrilled, but at the same time I'm like, it's Hollywood.
Right.
You know, who knows?
Stuff, and also you're on Steven time, because when you're not making, you know, Jurassic Park 8 or whatever. But I have to say, and this is something that all of us who have been so fortunate to do this work, especially with a gentleman like Mr. Spielberg. First of all, let me tell you, everyone whom you would ever want to meet, whose name you're aware of, are far nicer than Jess and me. Andrea Romano, Tress,
Except that one guy.
Frank Welker, everybody, Richard, Randy Rogel, all just the nicest people, Tom Ruder. But it was Mr. Spielberg, when the reboot happened, it wasn't about saying, we're going to have Liam Neeson be the brain and Russell Brand be Pinker. It's going to be just, it was pitched to Hulu, Amazon, Apple, and Netflix. And Mr. Spielberg went to every pitch, and right off the top, it was like, look, Don't even ask. It's going to be Jess, Tress, Maurice, and Rob. That's it. Because he knows in this realm, it's not about movie stars. It's about the authenticity of the characters. And we know that if it isn't done that way, and you have a project that has a huge cultural following, multi-generational, and then you do it again, and the actors are available, but they choose to use often celebrities. And this is no knock against celebrities.
Yes, it is.
Well, Jess is a celebrity. I'm celebrity adjacent. But, you know, Brad Pitt didn't know anybody when it got that way either, right? No problem. But if you're trying to convey a sense of authenticity and the same joy that your mom and dad got, and the actors are available and are capable, that's what you do. And what a remarkable thing to be part of that with a guy who can hire anybody, spend as much money as he wants, and the press would, whatever. But he chose us again. That's an enormous gift.
Wasn't it easy?
And it must have been great. Did it put you at ease thinking, you know, this reboot's going to work, you've got to bring back the original cast, it's going to hopefully have that magic. Were you ever worried at times thinking, is this going to be a success? Because obviously it's been a success. Were you ever worried thinking, do we touch this, like, great show that people love, is bringing it back to Game of Thrones and tarnish that? Was that never a worry?
The comforting thing about it, CJ, was we knew that if Steven Spielberg was involved in it, he'd make sure it was cool. Because if he wasn't involved in it, and it was just some other dude, you know, then we might have had more cause for concern. But being that he was hands-on and he approved everything and he read the scripts and he saw the edits and he gave it a thumbs up, we knew we were going to be all right. You know, it's his car, we're just hanging out the back seat. You know?
That's right. And they were very smart because the idea, obviously, was to maybe juice up the animation a little bit because things have changed. Keep the authenticity of the characters and the sensibility of the characters the same. But new stuff has happened. So right off the bat, in the theme song, the first half is what you grew up with in 1993 and forward. The second half, gender balance, pronoun neutral, and ethnically diverse. The trolls all say we're so passe, but we did that at first. Genius. So right off the bat, you know that you're in a different time zone and we're self-aware. And then we meet a studio executive who says, all of the information in the world is on this tablet. And the actor says, wow, all of the information of mankind in one easy-to-swallow tablet? And then he drinks it and says, Queen Bey, Internet, But so right off the bat in episode 1, you know that the producers get it. We want to be relevant. And were we concerned? Of course, you're always concerned about that. But I have to tell you, we probably did 40 or 50 interviews with the press in like a Zoom call with lots of people. And the folks who are critics have no problem telling you they got a problem with it because they're going to write about it. In my view, I probably had 85%, if not more, close to 90. We said, as soon as we heard you guys, we thought, oh, this is it. So by and large, it was a successful movie.
Yeah, the only thing I didn't like about it, I don't usually pitch story ideas, but I had one that I thought was great. They didn't use it. I thought it would be great if we killed the Kardashians, but they were like, nah, yeah. See, I know. That would have been great, but no, they didn't buy that. But in my mind, I played that episode a lot.
That sounds more like fantasy fulfillment than anything.
Ouch.
I missed that one, man. But the fantasy for me was just being back in the room with these, with Tressa and Robbie. And I remember there was a moment in the first session where I shut my eyes and I just listened.
Great.
And it was just like, being in a DeLorean and going back to 1955, man. It was really, really cool. And it still is.
Yeah, in fact, the first day that we did Pinky and the Brain, Mo showed up. And get this, check out. Mo gets out of his car. We had not spoken to each other the day before. He gets out of his car with a Pinky t-shirt on, and I got on my car with a Brain
Isn't
t-shirt
that
on.
awesome? Yeah.
And it just sort of like, well, this was meant to be. But also, you guys, Jesse kind of touched on this earlier. We work, small W, we work with people who we choose to be our friends. Like everyone with whom I work, I would be fine having at my funeral, you know what I mean? And then, Jesse touched on it earlier, fans are really friends whom you've not had the chance to meet.
That's
so
right.
we've made you know what, Kyle, of new friends in person. And that is the vibe of everybody on the show, because we don't draw them and we don't write them. But we get to go back to LA and tell all these glorious gifted people
All these experiences.
you have, folks, you have no idea how people feel out there about your work. And one of the most humbling, beautiful experiences when Brain and I did the first episode of Pinky and the Brain on the reboot, there was a young woman who was a writer. They hired a bunch of, writers who were hip, got punch right. There was a young woman, a Harvard grad, like the folks who write The Simpsons, all smart people. And Mo and I started doing the lines this lady had written. I looked through the glass and she
Isn't that cool?
just sobbing with joy.
And it wasn't because they sounded bad. It was because she liked it.
She wasn't throwing up. But we walked in, I said, "Oh my dear, I'm so sorry. Have we really upset you?" And she said, "Oh my God! Oh my God!" She couldn't believe that she was in there with a couple of old knuckleheads saying her words, and it meant so much to her because that's what inspired her to be a writer.
Yeah, it's so cool when we get to meet you guys and you show us like the art that you do, and I'm so often amazed at the quality of it, or you tell us about the dreams that you're having. And I'm here to remind you, seriously, if there's something in your heart that you feel you're being called to do, whether it's art or voices or singing or whatever it might be, it's there for a reason. It's not a coincidence. And the only difference between people who succeed and people who don't is the people who succeed never gave up. They never quit, So it's such a joy. Yeah, I'm serious, man. No. It's so true. It's so true. So, we love seeing what you guys come up with. We love seeing where you're going. And I take even greater pride when I see you again 5 years later and you go, dude, remember you told me I was going to be a professional artist? I'm a professional artist. Or I did my first voiceover session. Because it's like, dude, if a couple of knuckleheads like us can make it, you guys can make it just as easy. It's just a matter of hanging in there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Jess is absolutely correct. And I generally add to that, look, nobody starts in this business to think, I'm going to be rich. That's fine. Listen, I've been rich and poor, and rich is better. However, the Jones that makes people want to perform when you're 11, 12, and mom and dad put you on tap, ballet, or you do music, that Jones to keep doing it has nothing to do with money. Now, when you get to a point where you got a couple of kids, you got to pay the mortgage, it's a different animal.
Or you want to buy shoes like that, then you need the cash, yeah.
But the excitement to be here and to work and to meet friends and to continue to be creative and continue to get better has nothing to do with money, I promise you. So when I meet people who say, I really want to be a voice actor, I really want to do this, be a singer, a writer, then do it for the noblest of reasons, because it makes your soul happy. And even if you end up having Jess and I are in the Viagra 4 at 65 years old, on the weekends we play in bar, whatever. During the week you sell stock. On the weekend you do something that lights up your soul.
Yeah, man.
And it will do the same to the people around you. So success is relative, folks. It's all about the joy you have.
Success is happiness, man. That's the bottom line. If you're happy, you're already successful. Then it's just putting icing on the cake, right?
And obviously we're picking up the fact you're so passionate about that creativity, as you said.
Oh, yeah.
Drives you, brings these events, these guys, being passionate about what you do, drives you forward. And obviously creativity-wise, we're talking about voice work, we've also got to talk about music.
Yeah?
Yeah?
Thank you. By the way, how much are we getting paid for this?
Not much.
Oh, okay. Are we getting paid in pounds? 'Cause
I can get you some sweets.
That'd be fine. No,
It's
it is bottom line. Nothing but an absolute 100% unadulterated privilege to be in this position. period.
Please, guys, seriously speaking, I know we're not quite wrapped up yet, but if you're bored later, you got nothing to do, please come to our tables and say hi to us and let us give you a hug and meet you. We would love to have a chance. And we're over there. Yeah. No, we're not done yet.
We've still got time.
Yeah, keep going, bro.
I'm not wanting to go anywhere. I'm out way too much.
Oh, I got to throw one other thing. This was cool. There's a great little story about an encounter with somebody who came up to the table. There was this big dude. He was like a Marine, and I mean, he was like 6'6", and this guy was all buffed out. He was huge and everything. And he came over to the table, and I said, "Hey man, what's your name?" He goes, "My name is Ryan, sir." I said, "Well, it's nice to meet you, Ryan." I said, "Which one of these shows do you like?" Or whatever. He goes, "I'm a big fan of Animaniacs, sir. I grew up watching Animaniacs." And he's just so composed, and he's big, and he's huge, and everything. And I go, "Really?" And I go, "Did you have a favorite episode?" And he goes, "I like the one where you called somebody Dadu, right?" And I lean forward and I go, "Hey Ryan, can I call you Dadu?" Right? Now, and this guy started to cry.
Amazing. It's amazing.
This big, and it's like that's just like this magic wand power that you're blessed to get, where you can take people and put them in touch with the time of their life that may be long in the past, but is still big in the heart, And it's like we get to have those moments, and that's the best part. That's the best part.
And if you think the things from years ago, like I'm not going to say it because someone asked me to sing it, but there's a Nation song that is still the Nation song now.
Oh yes.
He's never heard of it. He doesn't know what you're talking about.
I'll tell you a really quick story about when we were promoting Animaniacs the year it came out in 1993, right? When we were at the San Diego Comic-Con, and we had a big panel with Tom Ruger and some of the writers and myself, and they played the Yakko's World cartoon, and got done, and it's pretty hard not to like. You don't even have to know Animaniacs. It's just a remarkable piece. There was a woman in the front row in her cosplay, and I can only describe it as Patti LaBelle as a Klingon. Which is redundant, really. And so she goes, "Yes, ma'am." She goes, "Hi, Mr. Paulsen. Was that you?" I said, "Yes, ma'am." She said, "That was great. Did you improvise that?" And I said, "You know what? I did." I said, "I wish that I could stay and answer more questions, but I got to go record a song about everybody who's ever played Major League Baseball in alphabetical order." But there's a really quick backstory to that that's so important. It's so important because it's just what Jess and I are talking about, the extent of the talent. It takes 200 people, give or take, to make one episode of a cartoon like that. Case in point, our friend Randy Rogel, who wrote Yakko's World.
And Yakko's America, and so many other songs.
States of the Capitals, the President, it's a great big universe, and we're all really pretty. He wrote that, okay. Randy was writing on Batman, the animated series, for which he won an Emmy right out of the chute. Then his whole background is musical comedy, and he's, "Oh my God, you guys, knock, 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 excuse me, Mr. Ruger, Mr. Spielberg, this is my jam. I should be writing comedy. I do that." "Yeah, look, you just won an Emmy for Batman. You need more money?" "No, yes, of course, but I can do both." They finally gave him a shot and said, "All right, I'll tell you. Randy, you go home and you write a song as an audition, a demo, in the context of Animaniacs, and you bring it to us, and if we like it, maybe we'll bring you on." That was his audition.
Yeah, Yakko's World, yeah.
He went home in 4 days and said, "Oh, are you kidding me?" So talk about a high bar. The first song I recorded and the first song that was written for Animaniacs was that song. So, if you don't mind, I would
Rob, give us a little. Yeah.
Should we?
You guys want to hear him sing that song?
What I really want to watch is these ladies explode.
Do you know what's really funny?
I promise I'll.
They actually caught me earlier in the main stage and went, "Please don't let them do that song." They actually said this to me, and I said, "Would I do that?"
I will.
I told you we said we're sorry.
Okay, so, thank you, Lucy. Thank you very much. Okay, so, the song goes like this. The United States, Canada, Mexico, Panama, Haiti, Jamaica, Peru, Republic Dominican, Cuba, California, Grenada, Guyana, Peru, Costa Rica, Colombia, Venezuela, Honduras, Guyana, and still Guatemala, Bolivia, Argentina, Ecuador, Chile, Brazil, Costa Rica, Belize, Nicaragua, Bermuda, Bahamas, Tobago, Taiwan, Paraguay, Uruguay, Suriname, Mexico, Guyana, Barbados, and Guam, Norway, Sweden, and Iceland, and Finland, Germany, now in peace, Switzerland, Latvia, Czechoslovakia, Italy, Turkey, and Greece, Poland, Romania, Scotland, Albania, Ireland, Russia, Oman, Bulgaria, Saudi Arabia, Hungary, Serbia, Iraq, and Iran, Syria, Lebanon, Israel, Turkey, Yemen, Kuwait, and Bahrain, the Netherlands, Luxembourg, Belgium, and Portugal, France, and Denmark, and Spain, India, Pakistan, Burma, Afghanistan, Thailand, Bhutan, Cambodia, Malaysia, and Bangladesh, Asia, and China, Korea, Japan, Mongolia, Laos, Tibet, Indonesia, the Philippines, Islands, Taiwan, Sri Lanka, New Zealand, Sumatra, New Zealand, Borneo, and Vietnam, Tunisia, Morocco, Uganda, and Kuwait, Zimbabwe, Djibouti, Botswana, Mozambique, Zambia, Swaziland, Gambia, Guinea, Algeria, Ghana. But wait, there's more. Running Lesotho and Malawi, Congo, the Spanish Sahara is gone. Nigeria, Chad, and Liberia, Egypt, Belize, Gabon, Tanzania, Somalia, Kenya, and Mali, Sierra Leone, and Algeria, Dahomey, Namibia, Senegal, Libya, Cameroon, Ghana, Ethiopia, Guinea, Bissau, Madagascar, Rwanda, Mayo, and Cayman, Hong Kong, Abu Dhabi, Qatar, Yugoslavia, Greek, Mauritania, Tanzania, Monaco, Liechtenstein, Malta, Palestine, Fiji, Australia, Sudan.